Billions of dollars have been lost because companies realize only too late that their branding doesn't translate well in another language, region, or an entire country. Today, how to not offend an entire country with your branding. How to brand global without getting lost in translation. Hey everyone, it's Canon from Inspirationtomillions. I'm pretty sure most of you out there know about the Mensa International, the biggest and the oldest high IQ society in the world. Membership of this nonprofit is open to only those people with the highest IQ in the population. Just 2% of the people qualify for its membership. But do you know what the word means in Spanish? It means stupid woman. Now, it may be something that simply makes you crack up, but think about the larger significance of this. Why would anyone from the Spanish-speaking world be interested in a membership called Stupid Woman? The otherwise exclusive and aspirational club that is supposed to be for intelligent people, but which seems to indicate the opposite with its name. I can only say that because I'm a member. But today, I want to speak about the importance of giving your brand wings by thinking global, not local. This is something that I tell my clients all of the time. Don't think small. Envisage a greater future for yourself and for your brand. By localizing your name and your tagline, you're essentially limiting yourself, limiting the possible future growth for your brand and its ability to go places, literally. You actually don't know right now what you and your brand are capable of creating and dreaming up. You cannot predict what new innovations will catapult into another league, what new markets will open up for you. And while I invite you to visualize a greater future for yourself and your brand, I do also want to touch on the importance of giving enough attention to linguistics, social and cultural barriers that we're all bound to encounter on this branding journey we're on together. When you brand global, you really need to think global. Through all my years of experience with naming and branding for my clients, among the many things that I have developed as a keen intuitive insight on is potential. This is something that a fledgling business or its creator may not fully comprehend. Starting small doesn't mean staying small. Growth is a natural progression of nature, and so it is with brands. Thinking locally is limited to right now. And in the future, this curtails your ability to diversify, spread out, and really become a big brand name. In the process of mentoring brands, I invite my clients to fully understand customer behavior and then guide them on the proper brand positioning. Further, there's the potential for growth and diversification that perhaps a business cannot fully grasp in the early stages. Right now, it can be one or two products in their mind, right? But then down the line, this may become a much wider range of products. Kathy Ireland started with socks. She's got a huge empire now, right? So this is another reason not to limit the brand in terms of its name, its tagline, and the connotations of both. Later, of course, there are other imperatives that you'll need to engage with, such as finding creative strategic partnerships and so on. But that is a bridge you can cross when you come to it. Right now, at this nascent stage, choosing the right name and the best tagline are vitally important. Also because they will have far-reaching consequences. Make them positive ones. You need to engage in this exercise now so that you don't limit your future. Be where the world is going. Look at things not how they are, but how they can be. Naming and taglining only for your own country or region is literally like clipping your wings. Why rob yourself of the possibility? Let me put it this way. As long as you're going to be thinking, why not think big? Those people who caution you to be prudent, to be realistic, are simply asking you to limit yourself. So think big and dream even bigger. It doesn't cost you anything, but it does give the confidence to believe in yourself and your idea. So now that we've established the importance of thinking big, thinking global, let's get on to the next logical step on how to accomplish this without getting lost in translation. Remember the Mensa anecdote I started out with? Well, there are many more branding fails where that came from. How not to get lost in translation. Now, in America, the term keep it loose has a cool connotation. So when Coors Beer was advertising for North America, the tagline they chose, turn it loose, worked really well to send out the message of breaking out or free relaxing or giving into impulses. It was ideal for beer. But when they decided to expand out of North America into Brazil, they messed up. When they translated the tagline for the local population, it roughly translated to suffer from diarrhea. So, not what you want beer to do for you. Think of all the beer lovers in Brazil who were amused and maybe slightly disgusted rather than persuaded to buy that beer. Think of the lost business for Coors and that huge Huge, beautiful country. In Taiwan, the Pepsi tagline, "Come alive with Pepsi," again got lost in translation. The local population there was puzzled by the beverage that promised "brings back your ancestors from the dead." That's what the tagline meant. Obviously, this didn't work at all for Pepsi. Translating for Americans can be so fraught with peril, as this anecdote from the Scandinavian vacuum manufacturer Electrolux demonstrates. When they translated from the original, the tagline became, "Nothing sucks like an Electrolux." Now, I don't have to tell you how Americans didn't want a product that sucked, even if it was something that was supposed to literally suck. The car Honda Jazz, or Fit, was originally named Honda Fitta. But when they were in the process of doing a very good thing, checking for whether the word Fitta meant anything else in any other language, guess what? They were horrified to find that it means vagina in Swedish and in Norwegian, 2 countries. So they settled for Honda Jazz in most markets, and it's called Honda Fit in America, Japan, and China. The story of the Ford Pinto is similar. In Brazil, the word Pinto is slang for penis. Not ideal. There are cultural gulfs that we as branders need to be aware of, which go beyond meaning and language. When in 1994, Kellogg's invested $65 million introducing its Corn Flakes breakfast cereal to the massive consumer market in India, people did not take very kindly to it. For the Partha and white butter-loving North, the Fafada and Jalebi-loving West, and for the rest of India, which favored a hot, substantial morning meal, the idea of a light breakfast with cold milk was an idea too difficult to digest. And when they warmed up to the idea, they found that hot milk was turning the cornflakes all soggy. Imagine how that huge investment of Kellogg's into 1 billion strong market backfired. It was similar for Nestle when they launched their iced tea in India. For Indians, tea is milky and sweet, thick beverages often flavored with spices, mint, lemongrass, and a host of other things, boiled and cooked to within an inch of its life. This pale, cold beverage that we were calling tea was simply not doing it for this huge population of tea drinkers. In Brazil, I could go on and on and on, and I will. In Brazil, when Revlon launched its top-selling Charlie perfume featuring the floral scent of camellias, they had missed out on a cultural significance of the flower. Can you guess what it is? It happens to be the nation's funeral flower. The whole thing was an exercise in futility, and in 1999, Revlon was struggling to find buyers in their Latin American businesses. How many lives will your brand touch? How many can it touch? Yes, the world is a global village today. Even the 6 degrees of separation has dropped to a far fewer. It is possible for literally everyone on the planet to be connected to literally everyone else. Even so, even in the increasing global marketplace, regional and national differences in traditions, cultural norms, and taboos still matter greatly. You want to make sure your brand is not on its way to becoming one of those epic marketing fails that they speak about in derisive tones, which I try not to do today. I'll just give you one last example of a case that has become synonymous with a huge marketing failure as an example for you to learn from. When the Edsel was launched by Ford in 1957, it was a somber tribute to the late son of Henry Ford. The Edsel was this big gas guzzler launched at a time when people were looking more at compact automobiles. The car launch was seriously mistimed. It was seen as overpriced, and when the stock tanked, this was literally seen as the most expensive mistake so far in the American auto industry as a whole. So not knowing what your customer wants can cost you big. When you start out with the brand building, think global so that when your brand grows and more people all over the world are buying it, they're not put off by a cultural connotation of what it means or represents, so they're sniggering at what your tagline means in their language. Think big, and don't listen to people who tell you it can't be done. Life's too short to think small, as Tim Ferriss always says. Do this today. Narrow down the list of names and taglines that you've thought of, which you think are likely to work for your product. Now spend some time with Google Translate. Check what your brand name and tagline mean when translated into foreign languages: Mandarin, Spanish, French, Hindi, Malay, Bengali, Russian, Arabic, and so on. If you're looking to enter an overseas market, consult with a local in that territory. Find out if your product story or your idea in any way conflicts with that culture, their customs, their lifestyle, so that you can be a positive part of the global economy. Remember, cultural beliefs can be very specific and very nuanced. Don't worry about slang and the internet speak and the current lingo. This comes and goes. You can and always find a way in that in everything that you do. You can always find what's wrong with it if you look really, really hard, right? But don't let that slang or any possible mispronunciations deter you from choosing a good name. Research and make a discerning decision so that your brand can grow to its full potential. Thanks for joining me today. I'll just give you one more thing. Ellen Johnson's Leaf's words: if your dreams don't scare you, they're not big enough. Think big, dream big, achieve big. Be an inspiration to millions by loving what you do and loving how you do it. Thanks for watching. Don't miss out on a single thing. Subscribe below. And here's something else I think you'll love.